What's up guys, it's Ian here, back today with another video, and today I'm here to show you a full day of eating rice with sweet potatoes, chicken, olive oil, got some carrots here, shaking that pan, breaking up the chicken in time lapse here just to help it cook faster, half a cup of corn, half a cup of peas, move the carrots over. I just like to shake around the pan to evenly heat the vegetables and evenly distribute the oil and salt. This is the sauce that I put on the chicken. Shake the chicken around. I'll switch the lid around, let the excess moisture evaporate, add a little bit of salt. Once the rice has most of the water evaporate, I'll tilt it to the side just to double check the water level, turn it off, move it to the side, let it finish steaming. Move the vegetables to the side, added spinach. Here, you can just see me serving. This is actually the food that I made from the night before. Made some food for my family here. You can see here that I'm putting the extra chicken in the rice. I always make a little bit of extra rice and chicken, so that way I'll have enough leftover rice and chicken for the next day. I'm gonna go make some coffee and then have the first meal. After that, we're gonna go to Trader Joe's and then I'll show you some more meals and talk to you about some stuff. So the first meal that you see me eating today is actually the leftover rice and chicken from the day before. I make the coffee here, but when I cook, I really just heat the pan, put some vegetables in it. In today's case, some spinach and corn. So I heat that pan, add some olive oil, corn, spinach, shake it around a little bit to distribute that oil, and then I have my leftover rice and chicken from the day before, put it on top, shake it around to distribute that heat, soy sauce, shake it around a little bit, time-lapsed stirring, sweet chili sauce, red sauce, just goes on top. It's from the fridge, so I put it onto the pan, shake it around a little bit. There's some close-ups, so you can see the food there. First meal, fried rice. I also had a kiwi, just some time-lapsed eating. Only took me about 10 seconds to eat this meal. And after I had that kiwi and fried rice, organic toaster pastries to go with the coffee. What's up guys, it's Ian here, vlogging. One meal down, on the way to the store now. Shout out if you recognize this tree. Sometimes I throw rings in it when it's warm enough. It's not quite warm enough yet, but once it gets a little warmer, maybe we'll do some ring workout vlogs in the park right there. Just a friendly reminder, make sure you keep your head on a swivel. Do your press checks before you hit the door. These are some uncertain times out here. A lot of people are gonna try to stop your gains, and you have to take responsibility. You have to protect your gains and protect the vulnerable. They're defunding the police out here. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I've gotten robbed when I was a kid. All the times that I've ever gotten beat up or robbed, the police were never there. They're not gonna be there to protect you. 99% of the time, police respond to crimes. They don't prevent them. You'd have to be insanely lucky to be literally getting robbed while the police are driving by. The police aren't gonna be there to help you. You have to protect yourself, protect the vulnerable, do your press checks before you hit the door. Keep a backup weapon. Maybe you have a sidearm, maybe you have a couple knives. Your primary weapon can always malfunction. You could get disarmed. You should always have a backup. So stay prepared. They're defunding the police out here. And honestly, even if they weren't defunding the police, the odds that they would be passing by while an incident happens is pretty low. Just be careful. Protect the vulnerable. If you see something happening, you have to fucking sack up and help them. It's a lot easier to say that you'll do something than it is to actually act when you see something happening. You have to ask yourself, what would Jesus do? I always walk by this church here. Gives me some motivation. It looks nice, but it's important to be grateful for all the things going well in your life. Even if you're not religious, it is very important to not take things for granted. If you're not homeless, if you have food, hey, you're pretty lucky, you know? If you're privileged enough to be not homeless, have food, not be starving, you know, maybe you're hungry, but you're not starving, you're in the top 1% in the world. A lot of people compare themselves to the billionaire class, multimillionaires, the top echelon of Americans, but honestly, even an impoverished American is easily within the top 10% in the world in terms of the lifestyle afforded to us. Just to be here means that you're extremely lucky, and you really shouldn't take that for granted. You could have been born in some other country in the middle of a war zone, and ironically, some of those people have higher average happiness indexes than we do in America. Just because we're constantly bombarded with images of people doing better than us. We're hyper aware, extremely focused on the fact that so many people are doing better than us, that I feel like in America, our average threshold for feeling like we have enough is extremely unrealistic. But just remember that it's not your fault. It's by design to help fuel consumerism. If you found this info useful at all, hit the like button, share it with somebody, comment down below what you'd like to see in the next video. Almost here at the grocery store now. Gonna get these groceries and then I'll show you the second meal of the day. Probably make some more coffee too. Just made it back from Trader Joe's. Gonna give you a quick walkthrough of what I got. Got 1 bag of spinach, 2 bags of kiwis, 2 dozen eggs, 1 thing of salmon. It's getting very expensive now. About 5 pounds of frozen chicken, 1 loaf of bread. This bread is pretty good. It becomes very crispy when you toast it. It's good with butter, no added sugar. Not much fiber though, so you still gotta get that fiber from fruits and vegetables. 3 packs of Pop-Tarts. Notably, the strawberry ones have more calories than the ones that have sugar on the outside. These actually have more calories than these. I got 3 bags of wontons. Those are a good snack. It says that 4 pieces is a serving, 4 times 9. So there's 36 pieces, but really 9 times 5. You're looking at about 450 calories for a bag of these. $3. Not the most economical, but it is a good snack. I usually eat 1 of these in a sitting. I got 2 bottles of the blue sauce that I put on the chicken. The price actually went up. I think these went up by about 50 cents each. I might start having to make my own sauce. Got some hash browns. These also got more expensive. They went up by about 30 cents, but a lot of calories. Probably not going to eat any of these today, but they do have a very high calorie to dollar ratio. That was the full grocery trip breakdown, and now I'm going to have meal number 2. After those groceries, I heated up the pan, put some olive oil, had about 1 pack of wontons. I finished off the old pack of wontons, so I didn't quite use a full new pack of wontons, but in total I had about 1 whole package. I made some coffee. Once the wontons were done, I added some red sauce, poured the coffee, and then I sat down to eat. A nice instant snack. This bag of wontons is about 450 calories, plus the red sauce, maybe 50 calories or so. You're looking at about 500 calories. And it's only $3. A bottle of sauce is about $2, but it'll last you multiple uses, so I don't really factor that into the cost per meal, but it does add some cost over time. Time-lapse eating. Those wontons were the second meal of the day, and then you see some coffee, and now you see me cooking the third meal of the day. Here, I'm chopping up a white sweet potato. These are purple on the outside, white on the inside. I find these are a bit crunchier than the normal orange variety of sweet potato, so I like to cut these up and add them to the rice. You can see that I have brown rice soaking. I usually soak the brown rice for about 30 minutes before I start cooking it, and I'll put the white sweet potatoes into the brown rice. And then here, you see me cutting up orange sweet potato and carrots. I like to cook those in a pan. You can see me setting them into various containers to easily deploy into the pan. Here you can see the setup. I have the rice. I got some frozen chicken with the sauce on it. I got the pan going, add some oil, add the sweet potatoes first because they take the longest to cook in the pan. Alright, so here I got the rice on, chicken's defrosting. Now I'm going to add the carrots because they take the second longest to cook. Shake around that pan a little bit to evenly distribute the oil and heat. Then I cover it again, breaking up the chicken in time lapse here just to help it cook faster. You can actually start chicken from frozen and it'll cook okay, largely because the sauce reaches a boiling temperature. You just have to flip it a bunch of times and always have the most frozen side face down towards the heating element. Then at that point, I add some spinach. The spinach, you can add it very close to the end. I cover it back up just to help the spinach cook a little bit faster, cooking the food down a little bit to let the water escape. It's ready to serve. Here you can see me serving food. Roughly the same process as the night before. Roughly 3 servings of food, plus a little bit of leftover rice and chicken for the next day's breakfast. Here you can see me pouring out the last of my coffee, my dinner coffee. It is a little bit late in the day for coffee. Then some time-lapse eating. Only took me 8 seconds to eat this meal. Third meal, rice dish with vegetables and chicken. And then some toaster pastries for dessert. You can see me very happy about these toaster pastries, eating them with some coffee. And that brings us to the end of meal 3. We're in meal 4. Sesame seed covered cashews. Candied cashews from Trader Joe's. A decent snack. After that, I'm heating up a pan. I add some olive oil. I eat about 3 eggs. Look at that expert egg breaking technique. Only took me 5 seconds to break all the eggs. I add a little bit of pepper and a little bit of salt. While those eggs are cooking, I'm buttering the bread. I like to flip those eggs over once and then back to the original side that they started on. So I just flip them once just for the even cooking so they're not raw. After that, put the bread on the plate, put the eggs on the bread, and I also had a kiwi in this meal. It only took me about 10 seconds to eat all that food. That's pretty good. 3 eggs, 2 bread, and a kiwi in 10 seconds. After eating that food, I had some salted cashews, some little critters, multivitamin, and a vitamin D. I put them both in my hand just to hold up, but you actually have to drink the vitamin D with water and then chew up the gummy bear, so I ate them separately. That was all 4 meals. First meal, fried rice. Second meal, wontons. Third meal, rice dish with vegetables and chicken. And then the 4th meal, some eggs with bread, various nuts, kiwi, and some multivitamins. Alright, so that brings me to the end of a full day of eating. I just wanted to record this outro before I ran out of sunlight. It's getting a bit dark now. Thank you for coming and watching this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. I know full day of eating videos aren't the most interesting video to watch or make, but hopefully you found some of the voiceover of my thought process during cooking, and hopefully you found some of the words of wisdom while I was walking around town useful. Hopefully you find some part of this video useful. This was a subscriber request via the comment section, and if you have a video request, make sure you comment. I will take it into account and potentially make an upcoming video out of your request. I've got to get a few things done before I run out of sunlight here. Once again, thank you for coming and watching this video, and don't let anybody stop your gains. If you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching the whole video. Don't let anybody stop your gains.